And tonight's topic is Eric kind of hinted at it, is why do atheists talk about God so much? We do, as an atheist, we do talk about God quite a bit, and sometimes it depends on the person. Some atheists will not speak about God at all. They'll just kind of like let things go, roll off their back, and go, okay, whatever, and be done with it. But as for myself, we do here on the show, we do talk about God, registered trademark of God Industries. But we talk about it a lot because the fact is, a lot of religious people don't realize. It's like for us, it's like going into a swimming pool, and with every step you go into the swimming pool, you are constantly being surrounded by this stuff everywhere you go, and so we are being bombarded with it, and we don't like it. So what we do is we're pushing back, and religious people go, "Why are you doing this? Why are you making waves? So why are you talking about God? I mean, you don't believe in him, but why are you talking about him?" It's like, well, you know, I like trees. I'm not a tree, but I talk about trees. What's the difference, really? And we're going to start the timer now. Eric, you had some thoughts? Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask a question because earlier you had said that you have a lack of belief.
Yes.
And I would almost venture to say, is it truly a lack of belief?
Yes.
Or is it a lack of belief in God?
That's the same thing.
Because your belief would be atheism.
No,
you know I mean?
Atheism isn't a belief. Atheism is just a lack of belief in a God.
Okay, isn't that what I was getting at?
No, you're saying that like atheism in itself is a belief. It's not. It's atheism itself is just a lack of belief in a God at all. I mean, or any gods for that matter.
Right. Right, and I understand that, but is it still a belief at the end of the day? Or
No.
Is it opinion, or is it what? I mean,
no, it's not a belief at all.
Okay, well, that's all right.
I know there's in the religious community, there's a lot of confusion on that. That I'm serious. There's a lot of confusion that people think that because you don't believe in a God, that means you're still believing it because you're still talking about it. No, that's not how it works.
Well, and it's not that. It's like I don't believe that you talk about it because you don't believe it. In my view, and I would venture to say that sometimes I find atheists need to be a little bit careful because they almost fall into the same trap that Christians fall into. In my view, where it's like they try so hard to convince everyone that their belief is right, and it's the same with politics. They try so hard to convince everyone that they're right that they fail to realize that the thing that they hate most about the believers or even the non-believers is what they're becoming, is that type of person who's trying so hard to convince people that they are right, that it's their way or the highway, that they forget that, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Your belief, my belief is my belief.
Okay, I understand that. Let me put it to you like this, Eric. If someone were out there walking in traffic because they believe that they're a traffic cop and they're not a traffic cop, would you just say, okay, well, let them believe whatever they want to believe in that instance?
Well, okay, so that's something that's slightly different. Are we talking something that will hurt them or something that...
Well, religion can hurt people too.
It can.
And there's been proven to hurt people over and over again. So either way.
But I've seen some miraculous thing from those who do believe that have come out of like very bad lives and stuff like that. And
I've seen people who come out of very bad lives without religion too. So.
Right. But I mean, sometimes people need things like that. But
I don't know if they need it. They just they're trying to fill a hole that they just don't know how to fill back up.
Hey, have they become a better person at the end of the day?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes
that's the question that needs to be asked by all this. Because I mean, let's say hypothetically, okay, so let's take your traffic cop thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if the person believes they're a traffic cop and doesn't hurt anyone, doesn't walk out on the street or anything like that, but let's just say, oh, I'm a traffic cop. Is that really hurting anyone?
Well, it's called delusion of grandeur, actually. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what, Eric. Why don't you hang on a second? We got a few minutes here left. We got not that I don't want to cut you off here. I want to get Dan in on this as well. Here, Dan, what are your thoughts? Why do atheists talk so much about God?
I think a lot of it is because the notion. This is speaking as an American. It's different in other countries, certainly. But the notion of a Christian God is very prevalent in public life in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And, the majority of people here do self-identify as Christian or Catholic, one flavor of Christian or another. But I think a lot of Christians don't realize the amount of time and space that's taken up throughout our daily lives that remind us of Christianity. Whether it's billboards or the church on the corner or somebody out going door to door, the reminders of Christianity are there in our lives every day. And I think a lot of people have just become immune to it, that they don't see it. It's not that it doesn't impact them. It's just that they don't see it because they're one of the faithful, and that's just normal for them, they think.
Yeah, it's like they've been immersed in the water. They're swimming in it. They just don't realize that there's water is the water that they're in.
Yeah, but again, back to some of what Eric was talking about. I think you're right, Eric. There are I'd want to say proselytizing atheists. It's like they want to convince everyone that religion is wrong. And while I count myself among those who feel that we would be better off without religion, I support everyone's right to worship or not as they see fit. I'm certainly not going to try to take religion away from anyone.
Oh, did you have anything, Eric? Did you have anything you want to add back to that? Since Dan's taking a little break here.
No, and I mean, I think it goes back to this. I'm on this show. I'm the religious one.
Yeah,
and for me, I don't view it as harmful to me. Of course, I'm not exactly out there telling everyone, "Oh, you're going to hell because you don't believe in God." Because for me,
I thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. I do what I can. But for me, I believe that religion is a very personal thing. Whether you believe in it or not, or whatever your belief may be, it's personal. It's something up to you. And I think out of all this, it is healthy to have a discussion about it. It's health. The discussion is healthy, the conversion is not, if that makes sense. If we discuss it, regardless of if you're atheist or if you are Christian, there are a lot of good things, a lot of things I can understand. I mean, an atheist is, can help you understand your religion in some ways better than what a Christian is, because they have a different perspective on it. Mm-hmm. Just like sometimes a Christian can have a better perspective as far as their belief. And I think when we get into problems with them, we try and convince people.
I'm sorry, Eric. That's time.
God dang it, Packard. You suck.
Hey, the timer ran out. Don't blame me.
Freaking atheist, always keeping man down.
That's right. We like to think rationally and keep things timed out.
If you think this is unfair, Packard_Sonic sucks at yahoo.com.
Thanks, Eric. I knew you'd try to find somewhere to put that in there. But no, overall, and Dan is right that there are some atheists out there that proselytize, but a lot of it is that at the end of the day, we're trying to make the space equal for everybody. I think that's a big part of it. And one more thing there, Eric, is that people who don't believe in God, it just means that there is no faith behind or belief that there is no God. It's just we do not believe in a God. There's a difference there, actually. So, but it's sometimes it can be complicated, but it's also incredibly easy. If you're looking at through this side of the fence, it's just like we just do not believe in a God. Don't believe in any gods. You're like, for example, you don't believe in Zeus, Methuselah, Cthulhu. We just go one god further. You don't believe in those gods, so we just
Cthulhu is totally coming.
Cthulhu's coming. I just like saying Cthulhu.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Thor, whatever, whatever it is, there's a lot of Christians out there. They don't believe in any of those. They don't pray to them. But
I guess going back to what I was trying to say, at the end of the day, is it still a belief?
No, it's not a belief. It's a lack of belief.
Okay.
It's just a lack of belief. That's all. Just no belief.
Well, and let me chime in on that point a little bit.
Sure.
There's atheism is not the belief that gods don't exist.
Right.
It is simply the lack of belief in God. It's like I can't say one way or the other whether a god or gods exist or not. Mm-hmm. I have no evidence pointing one way or the other.
Right.
And I can't say God doesn't exist. I think God probably doesn't exist, particularly the God that is outlined by a majority of Christians. That particular God is very unlikely to exist.
Right.
But I can't say God definitely doesn't exist.
Right. You can be agnostic on your atheism too. It's that simple. And there's a lot of people who are just they're at the far end of the scale. They say God does not exist. Period. But then they have to prove evidence, and I don't have evidence for the non-existence of a God. But the evidence does not support a God, as far as I can see. So, and I don't know what evidence you want to come up with that would show that the existence of a God, but lack of evidence does not mean evidence of a God. But generally, what it does is we just don't believe in it. Period.